They say that school uniforms can stop bullying, but I disagree. School uniforms do not and will not decide whether kids get bullied. According to schools across the U.S., more and more kids are being pulled out of class because of not wearing a uniform. This can lead to them being made fun of, even at risk of being bullied. Think about a kid who forgets or maybe can't even afford a uniform. Now imagine him being yanked out of class by a teacher because he didn't have his uniform. That can be embarrassing to anyone that doesn't fit in with other kids or feels like an outlier. Not only is it embarrassing, it also takes them away from being educated. A 1999 study conducted by experts from Texas Southern University showed that bullying incidents increased as much as 12% after the implementation of mandatory uniform wearing. That shows that school uniforms can increase bullying by a small percent, but bullying should not be intensified because of a school uniform. It's not the uniforms that change a bully, they pretty much have to change on their own. Think about this logically. How can a uniform change whether a kid gets his lunch money taken or not? It's not that hard to think about. It's not that difficult. To know that uniforms don't increase bullying. Therefore, school uniforms should not become a norm at every point because it could cause risk for kids being bullied and even made fun of. My opponents also may say that school uniforms can increase concentration in the classroom, but I disagree. School uniforms are distractions in the classroom. Studies show that uniforms can cause some kind of discomfort for some kids. Imagine your uniform is tight and uncomfortable when you're in class. You would try to get comfortable while you're strapped in for a 2-hour lecture about who knows what. Your attention goes to yourself instead of the lesson, as well as taking away your concentration. So if you want to spend a reasonable amount of money on a uniform, be my guest, but just remember how it can affect your kid's education. Don't look back and say you flunked math because of an uncomfortable uniform. Points should not associate with uniforms whatsoever because they cause distraction and can take away concentration.
This may say that a proposition or requirement of school uniforms could benefit schools and students. I argue that our clothes don't make a difference to how successful we are. Middle school student Beatrice Ryback says, uniforms do not make students smart. Who I am is how successful I am. This is relevant because uniforms do not make students smart. It really comes down to how hard they work in class. A recent survey taken by 61 kids on the black team shows that 9 out of those 61 students believe that school uniforms could benefit their grades. That's only 15%, less than 1/4 of the students who took the survey as a whole. If so, what do the other 52 students believe? Do you really think clothes and how we dress will change our grades? School uniforms are limiting students' allowance of expression, can be used for racial discrimination, and can become too costly for families and parents. Meanwhile, school uniforms cause discomfort and should not be allowed. According to Mary Freely, a reporter for the Irish Times, having to wear this awkward, uncomfortable, and plain weird uniform adds on to the many challenges of school. Having significance because of how having to wear an uncomfortable uniform creates additional challenges to the ones students already face. If you were wearing something as uncomfortable as a tight necktie, it would be hard to focus or stay on task. In the article Uniform Effects, 7th grader Aaron Morton says, uniforms are uncomfortable. They make you feel like stiff robots. This is important because 7th grader Aaron's school uniform is distracting and isn't promoting better focus from him to his work. According to Adam Sherwin, the cost of uniforms is leaving thousands and hundreds of students at risk of bullying because they are sent to school in ill-fitting clothes or sent home for not having the correct kit. What Adam has stated is that uniforms could or have put students at risk of bullying. And the Growing Up magazine, Melissa Joke mentioned that 79% of students ages 12 through 18 recorded being bullied in or on school grounds, which enforcing school uniforms would likely increase the bullying percentage due to the idea of a non-diverse society and the concept of being the same. Essentially, introducing the relation to Adolf Hitler and the message school uniforms announced to students. And no one really wants to relive 1945.
My opponent may say that uniforms are uncomfortable and itchy, but I disagree because I once had an internet friend who was forced to wear uniforms into school and out. He told me that they were not uncomfortable or itchy at all and that they fit perfectly on him and that he would agree that those fit perfectly on other people. Therefore, uniforms do not feel uncomfortable. My opponent may say that schools push towards getting uniforms to distract themselves from students' education, but I disagree because schools can equally focus on both topics. School uniforms can help raise the education for debates like this one here itself. It can help students find reasons why and why not to enforce uniforms, raising their intelligence while also learning about many other things in each class. Therefore, uniforms do not distract schools from their students' education. My opponent may say that uniforms take away their student creativity. I disagree because you would wonder why their right to dress freely would be taken away in the first place. Students would clearly have to dress with inappropriate wording, pictures, or even the way they choose to wear it, causing their right to be taken away. Students can also express their creativity in art, music, band, and any class that supplies you with a pen and a paper. Students may not be able to dress freely in school, but students have chances to show off their own styles at home and in public. Therefore, their creativity would not be taken away.